to know anything else. You don't need to uncover the next thing that he's done. You don't need to find evidence to figure out once and for all that he's cheated on you. You don't need to know anything else. You already know enough to be able to make a decision right now to either be in the relationship or to leave the relationship. You already know enough without scrolling past and going to another video on narcissistic abuse. You already know enough to not have to continue watching all narcissistic videos out there. You already know enough. The problem is not what you know. The problem has to do with what you do, with what you know. When it comes down to it, I find a lot of people that will watch and will binge watch so much of social media, learning about narcissism, narcissistic abuse. And as a result, we have people out there that are very educated and know a ton about narcissistic abuse, know how the narcissist thinks, knows what's happening with the narcissist, knows all the red flags, and still find themselves in a toxic relationship where they're stuck, where they can't figure out how to heal, where they're still oscillating between the same guy, and it's still the same cycle over and over and over again. You don't need to know more. There's not a piece of you that needs to have one more video and then you'll figure it out. No, at that point, you're starting to get addicted to the dopamine kick of just learning something about a narcissist and learning something about a toxic person, and you're not actually shifting and changing you. There's nothing out there that you're going to learn that's going to fix him. There's nothing out there that's going to make him wake up and all of a sudden realize all the toxicity and all the abuse that he's been doing to you that he's no longer going to do anymore. There's nothing that you can say that's going to make him see and understand instantly, and all of a sudden he's going to shift and become the guy that you fell in love with that's never been there before anyways, because that wasn't actually real. It was a facade that he made. There's nothing else that you can learn and understand except for realizing that you already know. You already know that it's a toxic relationship. You already know that it's abusive. You already know all of these things that are affecting you, and you haven't done anything about it. Confronting him, that hasn't worked. Trying to talk to him, that hasn't worked. You focus on everything else but you. Everything else but you healing, you growing, you develop, you changing who you actually are. Then as a result, you start being a person who just scrolls through my social media or someone else's social media, Dr. Ramani's, Lee Hammock, Les Carter. You just become a consumer of all of the information, but not a person that's putting it into action. Not a person who's doing something with it. Why? Because people that actually do action don't stay stuck long term. People that start the work of transformational healing don't stay stuck long term. Why? Because they know who they are, they have healthy boundaries, they've healed and broken the trauma bond, they've eradicated the triggers, they no longer have these things holding them back. But if you keep coming on, you keep watching and watching and watching, expecting different results, and you're not getting different results because you're just watching and consuming, you're not actually putting in action into you. So what does it mean when I'm talking about action into you? You have to take time for you. You haven't taken time for you because everything has been focused on him, the relationship, on making him understand, of getting more information. You need to take time for you. That means you need to take time to be able to invest in yourself physically. That means you need to be able to take time to be able to work on you mentally. You have to take time to be able to process emotionally. You have to take time to be able to work on the triggers. You have to be able to take time to heal. If you do not take the time to heal, then don't expect anything to be different. You'll continue to have the same cycle over and over and over again. You'll continue to go back to the same guy. You'll continue to go back to the same type of guy, different face, same aspect, and it'll just keep happening over and over and over because there has to be different action. The repetitiveness of you learning and understanding, hoping that the next thing finally fixes the relationship or fixes you or wakes you up or wakes him up, all of that is petty and will never find you your happiness. What finds your happiness is you understanding that you already know the truth. One, you have to accept it, and two, you have to do something about it. Many people do not want to accept the truth of a toxic relationship that they're in. I was messaging some people the other day on Instagram. I was like, how long have you been in a toxic relationship? And they're like, well, I wouldn't call it toxic. And I was like, okay, how long has it been complicated? And they're like, oh, well, this. Why? Because people don't want to admit what it actually is. Because then when I have the conversation, I'm asking them, well, what's going on? And they start listing off all these things that are abusive. I'm like, it's not complicated. Is that as toxic? Abuse is abuse. It holds no bars, and it will continue to come after you nonstop. Whether it has a label on it or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you continue to accept over and over and over again. If you don't take the time to shift you, it continues to happen over and over and over again. If you don't take time to actually heal yourself, it'll continue to happen over and over and over again. Reagan, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Don't watch my content just to watch my content, just to consume. Don't watch Dr. Ramani's, Les Carter, Lee Hammock, like you name it, whoever's out there. Don't watch to consume. Watch to learn, shift, and develop who you are. So every single thing I do inside of coaching space and working with people to help them heal from toxic relationships, working with women that have been under the abuse of toxic men who no longer want that in their lives, I bring them to action. It's not just that we sit and we have a conversation so that you can cry it out. That will help, sure. But then there has to be action. There has to be something on the backside that you decide to do. That's why in watching a video like this, you have to be able to see, understand, and learn, what am I learning from this and what do I need to do? You watch another video, my video, someone else's video, I don't care. You have to watch the video and then apply it to your life, apply it to your situation. It has to shift something in your life. Otherwise, it's pointless for you to continue to consume narcissistic content. Don't fall into the trap of being a consumer that just wants to learn one more thing, that wants to understand one more aspect, that wants to figure out one more thing, and then you'll leave. No, you already could list out 25 things that have been abusive or toxic or that how it's affecting you in a negative way. You just don't want to. Because the reality of it is if you did, then you'd be faced with it. You'd be hit upside the head with like, these are the facts, then you'd have to do something different about it. Don't consume just to consume. Learn to be able to apply, to take action. If you don't take action, don't expect different results. Don't expect anything to shift in your life, anything to shift inside your relationship. It'll be the same thing over and over and over again. So inside of this, I have one action for you today. That's to be able to drop a comment down below that says the word breakthrough. I'll respond and I'll send you a link for you to be able to watch a short video of what I do, helping you walk through a healing journey and a growth mindset, giving you an actionable step-by-step plan to find healing. If this doesn't sound like your cup of tea, then you might want to not follow me. Because I'm not interested in having people and all the numbers and all the people that are around just to follow me if they're not willing to actually put action to what they're going to do. If they're not willing to learn and apply it to their life, this isn't the place for you. I'm a coach that helps people transform their lives. That means I come through step by step of helping you walk to where you are, to where you want to go. And what are the challenges in between that we can work through, that we can list out and we can attack step by step for you to actually transform and become the person you want to be. I work with women that are trapped in toxic relationships that say no more to the toxicity, to how they've been abused. And they want to develop who they are with clarity, with confidence, and with certainty in who they're called to be, establishing healthy boundaries, eradicating the trauma bond, getting rid of the triggers, and standing up in power. If that's you today and you want help with this, drop a comment down below that says the word breakthrough. I'll send you a link and we'll move forward today. But it has to be from you stopping consuming and you taking action for you. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day.